I'm Sean Gibson from Tech Britain. Today we're in Derry at CultureTECH, and I'm very happy to be joined by Joe Cohen, founder of seatwave. Very nice to meet you, Joe.
Great to be here, Sean. Thanks.
So, Joe, could you tell us a little bit about your background and seatwave?
Sure. So I'm from the States originally, and I worked in consumer technology and consumer businesses going back to kind of the mid-90s, early 90s. Was in Southern California for a long time and moved to the UK just at the turn of 2000, and have run a number of consumer technology businesses, particularly in the online mobile space. And 6 years ago I founded seatwave, which is a marketplace for event tickets, and we now operate sites across 12 countries in Western Europe, and we're one of the largest distributors of event tickets in the UK and a number of other countries.
Oh, terrific. And you're based in London with seatwave? We
are based in London, yeah.
Okay. And is that within the sort of Tech City area, or whereabouts in London are you based?
It is. We're basically right at Moorgate, so kind of right where Islington and the city meet, which is what I like to refer to as the money end of Silicon Roundabout.
Yeah. And I guess when you first started, this whole Tech City initiative wouldn't have been in place, so it's just kind of sprung up around you.
It has. I mean, it's been amazing over the last few years. I was talking to someone about it the other day. In thinking about starting a business even 8 or 9 years ago, the context for starting a business was so different than it is today, from the kind of community that exists, the kind of support that you have, just the general cost of things as a barrier to get started. You know, one of the things that I'm going to talk about today is that 10 years ago, a database server could cost you 80 to 100,000 pounds, and today it costs $2.50 per CPU per month. And so that barrier has just completely come down, so the context is really different today.
It really is open to anyone now. Like, anyone with an idea can really just get out there and make something of it in such a short space of time, and at such a low cost as well. Which is...
That's right, yeah. So what I'm here talking about today is something called DevCamp, which is a program that we started in London where we're training young people in software development skills. And the big barrier that still exists, particularly in the UK, is engineering skills and software development skills. And once we have those skills, we certainly have the intelligence, the creativity, and the world experience to create that intellectual property. And that's really where the value creation is. And so as somebody who hopefully is going to be running and leading tech businesses in the UK for the next 30 or 40 years, I'd really like to see us develop that skills base, and that's a lot of what I'm going to talk about today.
That is terrific to hear. So is DevCamp akin to an apprenticeship of sorts?
Well, it's a summer program right now, and we're in our second year, and we partnered with an organization called Rich Mix, which is based in East London, and it's an art center. And we've brought together a bunch of different companies in the tech community: seatwave, Mind Candy, Skimlinks, to name a few. Silicon Valley Bank's been very involved, some other charitable foundations, and we've run a summer program for 14 to 18-year-olds to teach them how to build web apps, Facebook apps, and mobile apps. And it's amazing when you see these kids who are 14, 15, who've never even written HTML before, in 3 or 4 days building apps, and the passion that it ignites, and the fact that they start thinking that this is a potential career choice. It's game-changing.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing to hear. We love seeing things like Code Club, for instance. So this is terrific to see that, you know, seatwave is really pushing ahead with, you know, your own version of that, and filling that gap, you know, as you see it. Because, like you say, we are well positioned to be a leader within the sort of, you know, internet, online, digital arena. It's just filling those skill gaps, really, isn't it? So
yeah, I mean, if you think about where the UK exists today, the UK creates about 15,000 new engineers every year. The US creates about 75,000. China creates about 600,000 new engineers every year, and I think we're of the last generation where you can be truly competitive in the global economy without a huge base of engineering skills. And, you know, then if you step back for a second, you see that actually the UK over-indexes the US and Nobel laureates. You know, the US being the country that has the most Nobel laureates, but the UK has half as many at 1/6 the population. You think certainly the intelligence base is here, and the ability is here, and it's just about how do we make it more accessible for particularly communities that don't have access to technology. How do we make it cool and desirable in a way, and then also what are some things that we can do economically to incent people to move in this direction. And so one of the things, again, that I'll talk about today is some of the things that we can do from an economic standpoint to actually get young people thinking about engineering as a career choice.
Oh, terrific. And do you believe that London and the UK specifically is in a good place with regards to where it's at the moment, or like, in terms of the rest of Europe?
Yeah, I think we're in a good place. I think we can be in a better place. I mean, the UK, really is in an incredibly unique position globally in that we've got a great base of education. We've got democratic principles and ideals. We've got the rule of law. We've got the free flow of capital. All of these things, but at the same time, from a pure engineering and software development standpoint, the UK is falling behind. And so that's totally fixable, right? And if we can address that issue and get in front of that issue, then there's no reason why the UK can't continue to emerge as a world leader in the creation of intellectual property.
Well, that's fantastic. That's what we love to hear here. So in terms of CultureTECH, how did you come to be involved in CultureTECH?
Well, the folks at CultureTECH knew about the DevCamp program, and they asked me to come and talk about it and talk about what we've created down in London, and if there's a template that we could offer to begin to build DevCamp-like programs across the UK, because that's really what it's going to take, is programs like this. It's incredibly challenging to get it into curriculum. It's incredibly challenging to get it into a government sponsored entity, but this is all done in the private sector. Yep. And the private sector has what I would refer to as an enlightened self-interest in making this happen. And so how do we use that self-interest to do the right thing by doing good?
And is there any government support for DevCamp at the moment, or?
Well, we've had not financial support. So Rich Mix formerly was Arts Council funded, but that was cut, and a big reason why they've actually turned to us in DevCamp is because of that, and they see the opportunity going forward. We've had vocal support from Mayor's office in London, but to be quite honest with you, we haven't asked for financial support from the government, and I don't think we want it. I think that this is something that we should build in the private sector. I'm personally not a big believer that government is the answer to our problems, and that's my Americanism coming out. So far so good.
That's terrific. And just going back to CultureTECH, in terms of things like CultureTECH and places like Derry, do you? What's your thoughts on the start that they have made here?
I mean, it's great. There's clearly a history of culture and arts in Derry, and that goes a long way back. And as you think about what communities can do to build their economies for the 21st century and beyond, certainly technology makes a lot of sense as arts and culture really move into a digital arena. And there's a great infrastructure here already, and there's a really good education base here already. It's about bringing in the right skills to complement that, and specifically around software development, engineering, creation of intellectual property, and all the things that we believe really strongly. So we're hugely supportive of what Derry's trying to do, and think that they're on the right track.
Well, I mean, just it is terrific to see you here. So it's with the support of people like yourself that these sorts of initiatives flourish, really. So it's great to see you here. But just in terms of DevCamp, if say someone wanted to get involved in DevCamp, how would they go about doing that?
Well, there's a website, devcamp.uk.org, that they could go to, and they could find out more information. There's a DevCamp Twitter account as well, which is DevCamp2012, where they could get more information. They could contact me, joe@seatwave.com, or Rich Mix, which is easy to find as well. And please get involved. We're just finishing up the 2012 program today. As a matter of fact, it's the last day. But this year, we're going to be able to actually run some programs during the school year as well. So during some school holidays during the school year, we're going to have some continuity programs with the young people who came through this summer, whereas last year we weren't able to do that. And our goal is to have a year-round program that runs, and then begin to take this model and offer it to other places, not only around the UK, but around the world.
Oh, that's fantastic. So really just keep an eye on the website and the Twitter account, and just wait until the next entry comes up. Really.
Yeah, or just get in touch with us and tell us how you want to get involved. We're happy to accept labor, money, anything, right? We're not picky.
And in terms of plans for the future, Joe, what would those be?
Well, I think DevCamp. We feel like it's the right program at the right time, and there's a lot of, frankly, there are a lot of young people who come from less privileged backgrounds in the UK, who are very intelligent, are very ambitious, who want to figure out what the opportunities are in the digital arena, and frankly, there are not a lot of forums for them to do that right now. And so we feel like we can go from strength to strength with DevCamp and continue to build it where it is today, but also pick it up and move it to some other places. And so we're in discussions with a few other cities in the UK right now about building a similar program.
And for seatwave, what would the plans be for there? Like, what do you have your objectives set on?
Well, for seatwave, it's always been the same objective, which is, people love going to live events, and the more that the world gets digitized and commoditized, the more valuable live performance is for all of us at a deeply personal level, emotionally, psychologically. And so our whole goal is for, when people want to go to a concert, a theater event, a football match, that they have to worry more about where they're going to park as opposed to how they get tickets and how they get in. And that's always been our goal.
Fantastic. Well, I'd just like to say thank you very much for your time, and have a great time at CultureTECH.
Sure I will. Thanks so much.
Cheers. Thank you.